What is up, my fellow yarn besties? I am the Crafty Crocheter, and if you want to become a yarn bestie, click that subscribe button so you get access to more of my fiber arts related content, and you'll get notified when new videos come out. So, in this video, I thought I would play 20 questions because one of my subscribers, she sent me an email asking 20 questions about certain things, about mostly fiber arts related and some personal. So I'm gonna go to all those questions in this video. And actually, I forgot to mention, happy 4th of July, everyone. So hope you're going to have some great 4th of July plans, like cookouts and family gatherings and things like that. So it is supposed to be a little hot today. So if you're going to be outside, stay hydrated, drink plenty of water, stay in the shade, and exercise caution so you can prevent heat stroke. All right, so if you're ready, let's answer some questions. All right, so the first question is, what is my favorite type of yarn? Now, my favorite type of yarn would be like a worsted weight number 4. I use it a lot. It's quite common, and it's the yarn I've always used ever since I learned to crochet and knit. So yeah. As far as any particular brand, I use Red Heart a lot. And yes, I am an affiliate for Yarn Inspirations, and all of my information will be in the description below. So yeah, anything worsted weight number 4, I usually use a lot of acrylic yarns and things like that. But I've used other types too. I've used like cotton acrylic blends. I've used acrylic wool blends and strictly cotton yarns as well. So next question is, when did I first learn to crochet? So I first learned to crochet when I was 14. Now my grandmother, she had taught me the basic chain stitch and just went from there because I think that's all she knew how to do. But after I learned the chain stitch and mastered it, I moved on to other stitches on my own. You know, learning a single crochet, double crochet. And I remember I first tried to do a granny square from this book I had, that was like a pamphlet I had, but I got as far as the first round and then I got stuck, so I just didn't pursue it any further. So, but then I relearned it and mastered it, so I'm pretty good at granny squares. All right, so what is the first item I've ever made? Okay, so the first thing I've ever made was this pride flag. This was a couple years ago. Back when I was learning to crochet, I didn't really make any projects. I was just like practicing stitches and things like that. As far as any actual projects, I learned how to do, when I used double crochets, and I made this pride flag thing, which I think I showcased in one of my earlier videos. But then after that, I started moving on to blankets, amigurumi, all sorts of different projects. But I usually like to specialize in blankets because they're easy to do. But I've done hats, scarves, things like that. All right, so number 4 says, what is the most favorite item I've ever made? My most favorite item I've ever made was the Janie Crow Marrakesh Towels blanket, and I made 2 of them. And the most recent one was the one with all the blue designs, and I've showcased it a lot. So if y'all have been subscribing to this channel and followed me on my adventures, you know what I'm talking about. And it actually is the banner for my channel. So if you see as I Crafty Crocheter, then the background is that blanket I've made. All right, so number 5 is, what is my favorite colorway? I usually like to gravitate towards green, because green is my favorite color. So anything green related, I will gravitate towards. But Red Heart has some pretty good Bitty Stripes yarns, some ombre yarns, variegated yarns I like. But anything green, I will gravitate towards. All right, so the next one is, do I like crochet or knitting better? Because there are pros and cons to each. I like to crochet slightly more than knitting, because crochet, you only have to use one hook and you just whip through everything like quickly. You don't have to worry about any dropped stitches. Well, you do have to worry about dropped stitches, but not as much as with knitting, because knitting, if you drop a stitch, then you got to find it and you got to either repair it, or you just got to frog the entire thing until you get to where it got discombobulated. But I think I prefer crochet slightly better. Okay, and what is my favorite drink? Let's see. It depends on my mood. In the morning, I'll drink coffee, of course, because I do have a cup right here. And I have to have my coffee with Coffee Mate. I'm sorry, I cannot do straight up black, or I used to do like cream and sugar, but I kind of like Coffee Mate better because you get different flavors. When I'm having dinner, I like to drink wine a lot. Well, not a lot, but I drink wine with dinner sometimes. I'm a red wine type of guy, and if anyone who's curious of what my favorite varietal is, it is Brunello di Montalcino, which is a red wine from Italy, and it's made from the Sangiovese Grosso grape. in case y'all are on a little factoid. And what is my favorite hook brand? I like Yarnology from Hobby Lobby. I like their ergonomic hooks. I use them a lot in my work. If I have to say, because I did a video on testing different brands of crochet hooks, and I prefer ergonomic hooks. Like the Yarnologies are great because I have larger hands, and then it's more comfortable. I can crochet for hours with those things and not get any hand cramps or any kind of fatigue. And I prefer tapered crochet hooks versus incline when I crochet. I mean, it's because I've been using tapered for a long time, and I've recently got into using incline, but I just prefer tapered. Okay, so what hook size is my favorite? Okay, so it depends on the project I'm doing. For blankets, I'll go with a J. For amigurumi, I'll use like an H or a G. And like for the Janie Crow Marrakesh Tiles blanket, I had to use a G for that. Of course, I could have went up to an H, but I went with the G as is said in the pattern. But it's in between H to J is my spectrum of the crochet hooks I use a lot for projects. So for blankets, J. For amigurumi, H. And anything else, an I. How long have I been married? Okay, so we've been married for almost a year. But we dated for almost 19 years before we actually got married. I know some of y'all thinking like, why'd you wait so long? But I just, because I think what prompted us to get married was because I think they were talking about in the news about how they're trying to overturn gay marriage and same-sex marriage and things like that. So we wanted to jump on the gun before the laws changed, but fortunately that did not happen. So let me recap. Dating for about 19 to 20 years, and then we got married almost a year ago in October. And what is my favorite food? Oh my God. It depends on the mood, really. American's fine, Italian, Mexican, Asian, whether it be Japanese, Chinese, Thai, Korean. But if I would have to say sushi would be my kryptonite, because if anyone say, hey, let's go out for sushi, I'll be like all on it, like in a New York minute. So, all right, so have I made any wearables besides hats and scarves? No, not really. I've seen patterns from other YouTubers about, like, they made cardigans they made vests out of granny squares, they made robes out of granny squares, hoodies, but I had never actually made a wearable. But that is something I may try, just to see if I could, because I've seen a couple people do knit sweaters, and they would use granny squares for wearables, so I may try that. Do I do stitch tutorials? If not, do I plan on doing some? Yeah, I do a lot of tutorials, actually, stitch tutorials. I have my Stitch of the Week playlist if you want to check it out. I have project tutorials like for blankets, and I do like amigurumi, things like that. But most of my tutorials are like about blankets and my hats, my scarves. And I do stitch tutorials. I do yarn reviews too, and product reviews, things like that. And if you've seen my trailer, then I pretty much cover what I do on my channel. What is my favorite type of music? Oh, I am what you would classify as an eclectic. I like everything. It depends on the mood, but if I'm want to chill, I'll listen to classical opera. I'll listen to and then if I'm wanting to jam out in the car, I'll listen to some a heavy metal or some techno, dance, jazz. So it just depends on my mood, but I basically like it all. And how long have I had the channel? I've had this channel for about a year and a half, I think, because I started my channel back in February 13th, 2025. So it's been a little over a year and a half since I had this channel, and I am grateful for all of you who subscribed and showed a lot of support, and I hope to get a lot more subscribers, and let's keep the momentum going, guys, all right? I covered this one already in my learning to crochet, but it says who taught me to crochet and knit, or am I self-taught? So like I said, my grandmother taught me how to do the chain stitch for crochet, and anything else I learned on my own pretty much. I'm pretty much a self-taught fiber artist. Am I a cat or dog person? Okay, well, I like cats and dogs, but if I had to choose, I'm a cat person because cats don't bark. They don't bark at anything. Cats are aloof. They stay to their own, kind of like myself sometimes. I mean, dogs are cute, don't get me wrong. I like dogs. I mean, dogs are adorable, but dogs tend to bark a lot over nothing. But I just prefer cats. Because if I covered in my other videos, I had a cat. He was an elder cat, and he had some intestinal issues, and he died. And it was a sad event. If I would get a cat again, probably, but not right now. Because, of course, I have all this yarn, too. And, you know, how cats are with yarns. All right, so my favorite season, autumn. Because I like when the leaves change and nice cooler temperatures. It's not too hot, not too cold. Then you have Halloween in October. Then you have Thanksgiving in November. So autumn would be my favorite season. Because, again, the colors and of the leaves change. And then you got my favorite holiday of Halloween. So, okay, and do I eat out or cook at home? I cook more at home than eat out because, again, with the price of going out to eat, it's freaking insane what they upcharge you for basically anything you can make at home for dirt cheap. Like Olive Garden, you know, I'm not going to pick on Olive Garden, but go into Olive Garden. Basically, you can just boil pasta, sauce, and you can just serve a family of 4 for less than the same price as an entree at Olive Garden. But eating out, it's fun every once in a while. But again, it's expensive to freaking go out to eat. So, and plus, most of the food quality is garbage anyway. So, from my experience, I'm not gonna say, you know, it's not my opinion saying that that's my opinion represents all of what restaurants are, but it's just past experiences, you know, like especially fast food. It's just pure garbage, pretty much. So I rather cook and eat at home. And plus, you don't have to worry about contending with the crowds too, all the other people, especially like on Fridays and Saturdays, or if you're celebrating a holiday or celebrating a special occasion. All right, so the last question is, do I design my own patterns? And if not, do I plan to do so? And would I be willing to share? I have not designed a pattern as of yet. I should have written down a pattern for the lobster amigurumi I made freehanded. I should have written it down because I've gotten interest in the pattern for the lobster I made this full-size lobster with the claws and the little tentacles and the antennae and everything, but I didn't write it down, so I just did it freehanded. But yeah, if I would design stuff, and if I had a pattern, I would share it. But most of all the patterns I disclose on my channel are usually from like the labels of inside of yarns and things like that, or if I kind of adapt other people's patterns, I mix it up and change it to my own, so I don't get accused of stealing other people's patterns, because, you know, with the whole AI thing. So, all right, so these questions were sent to me by Yaya's Corner. So if you haven't heard of her, check her out, check her channel out. So thanks, Tammy, for sending those questions in. I mean, I've seen other people get nominated to ask questions and say, hey, let's get to know this person, da-da-da-da-da. So I thought, why not play 20 questions? Because she actually sent me 20 questions, so which was fantastic. So again, if you have any questions that were not covered in this video, email them to me, or leave a comment or something like that. Leave a comment with a question or send it to my email. I'll be sure to answer those in the next video, or actually in an upcoming video, I should say. So I have been working on my scarf project as of late. That project I mentioned in my Whipping It Up on Wednesdays series that premiered on this past Wednesday. So I mentioned what the project was. So I am going to work on that some more today, and then on Wednesday I'll show the progress. But so far it's coming along nicely. It's like I read the pattern several times and you gotta master it. So, all right, so that is the questions for today, everyone. So, and if you like what you saw in this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when new videos come out. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And you can also hype this video, share this video, spread love and not hate. Be there for one another, help each other out. Don't forget to grab your crochet hooks or your knit needles, grab some yarn, and create something beautiful today. And stay on top of your mental health, because good mental health is very important. This is the Crafty Crocheter. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting.